does Purdue rank as far as coming off a long road trip with a 2-day prep with everything?
Yeah, I mean, Purdue was picked to win the league, and I've got the most likely player of the year with Braden Smith. He and Wagler, I think, are up there at the top, and everything starts with him. It's an old, experienced group that's played together for a long time, and Matt Painter is as good as anybody in this business. So, they absolutely handed it to us last year, embarrassed us on their home court, and we're going to have to be on point. This team plays hard. They're on the floor. They play together, and we can't give them anything easy. They're so disciplined in their approach on both ends of the floor. They run a lot of different coverages defensively, so early on we'll see how they're playing us and adjust accordingly. But offensively, they're so hard to shut down. They're third in the nation in offensive efficiency, and one of the best defensive teams in the country as well. So, a team that's coming off a couple wins. Lawyer's really got it going right now. He's 29 and I think 19 in his last two games. Again, they spray it as well as anybody. They draw two to the ball. They're going to make it pay somewhere. So we have to have great activity level, and very important we get off to a good start.
What do you have to do defensively on Smith?
I mean, you just have to do the best job you can. He's one of the best three-level scorers in the country, and his ability to get the ball in the pocket. He's the best pocket passer I've ever seen, and his ability to make tough shots. Again, you can't get deflated. I know we talked about that with Francis in the last game. Give Rutgers, they made a lot of tough mid-range shots in that game. But I didn't think we got deflated. I never thought we did in that game the other night in New Jersey. So, for us, he's going to do some really things, things that, a lot of wow factor type plays. You can't get discouraged when he does that. You got to keep playing and keep trying to make things tough.
How much does Sam and Marcus embrace these type of matchups against
Listen, it doesn't matter who our guys have played against. I think that they've embraced every challenge that we've had this season, and they just happen to be going against a guy that may be the National Player of the Year in this game tomorrow. So the approach hasn't changed. You still have to go out and do the little things, and try to have great hand activity. I thought Cale did a really good job in our game the other day against Rutgers. I thought he got some deflections that really got us going, and that's when we pulled away. Early in that game, we didn't have a deflection. I think the first 8 minutes of that game, we didn't have any. And then you look at the end of it, Sam had 9, Cale had 7, and overall we reached our deflection goal. And you have to try and do that against Purdue. It's hard. It's really hard to do because they're so disciplined. They're such good passers. But you have to do everything you can to contest everything, whether it's a shot or a pass. Yeah, it was important. It was important for Rink to have a game like that coming off the two, the Michigan game where obviously he didn't play, and then not being right in the Illinois game, and had a couple of struggles before that as well as far as putting the ball in the basket. So it was great to see him. Jamarcus made a really good play stringing out their ice coverage in the first one of the first possessions of the game where Rink hit a 3. It's important to see the ball go in the basket, and I thought his patience on the post was elite in that game against Rutgers. I think he hit 3. He got in the Kareem Award. He made 3 hook shots in a row. So to see Rink put it in the basket like that and to score a career high, I think he had a career high in shot attempts in that game as well. So, and listen, our guys did a really good job of finding him. And that's one thing this group has done, whether it's a switch where you can get the ball inside and play off a Rink. He's obviously a very good passer and facilitator. Purdue will run different coverages, so we have to be ready. They do a great job of double teaming the post coming from the baseline side, so we have to space the floor properly as well. Important in a game like this, you got to take care of the basketball. We've done a good job of that all year, but these guys do a great job with their deflections and getting them out in transition. If you give them easy baskets, you can't beat them.
With the Rink, it seems like when Purdue struggled this year, the bigs are able to spread them out and they can defend on the perimeter. And you got it going from inside the paint is the next step, especially in this matchup, getting him going again from a three-point range.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I talked about this the other day. Whenever Rink shoots the ball, I think it's going in, and he's getting his legs back, and as a shooter, the game's a lot easier when you have your timing, when you have your legs, when you have your conditioning level where it needs to be, and Rink is getting back to that point. I know I talked about this a week ago, but he wasn't able really to get in here and do any extra work, extra conditioning, and he's been doing that every day since I think the day after the Illinois game, where he came back in for his really first extra session, and he hadn't done that much this year. One of it's protect the knee, but also after the illness, obviously he wasn't able to come back in. So that's important. It's good for your psyche, I think, when you can come get that extra work and see it go in. And it's also great to see that hard work pay off. And when you put that extra time and the commitment level that our guys have, and to see that pay off, it's important as well. So yeah, Rink, I've talked about him a lot, obviously being a warrior and being the most disciplined guy, and he's ready to go off from three. I'm convinced of that.
What are the benefits just mentally of getting that win against Rutgers and kind of being able to mentally put the best 2 games?
Well, we really didn't think of it that way. We just went out, I thought, prepared well for that game, and those early ones are tricky. It was an 11 a.m. for our guys from body clock standpoint, and again, we got off to a solid start and then pulled away at the end of the half. I thought we were disciplined the whole game. We didn't have any panic. I thought our movement was outstanding. We did a good job playing within the flow, or we chart all of our flow offense. We were 1.54 points per possession when we played straight flow, and that's a great sign. We work on that all the time, and I thought our guys cut really well and did a good job getting to the next action, which is a big part of this system. We're going to have to be really good tomorrow. Again, this team is so disciplined in everything they do. It's such a credit to their coaching staff with the way that these guys go out and play, every night. And again, we're going to have to be on point. This team was projected to win the league for a reason, and they're right up there. They've had 3 really close losses. They could very easily be undefeated right now.
Physicality is obviously important for you guys, but Kaufman, Rand, and Clough rebounding, how important is that?
Yeah, it's always. Listen, our main things: take care of the ball, finish off possessions with a rebound. Those are the 2 things we always go out and talk about at the end of it. And then obviously getting back in transition, that goes hand in hand with taking care of the basketball. But it's going to be important. They've got length. They crash the boards. We have to finish off possessions. I thought we were much better in the Rutgers game than we had been the previous 2 against Michigan and Illinois. Yeah, everybody's doing good. Everybody was on the floor today, obviously, except for Oogie and Connor. Leo's still battling. He'll be out tomorrow. Thank you.
It's going to be a while, probably. They're just starting out. So I'll ask if you guys want one. It's going to be a lot like that.
I don't even. I use Rick to work this.
They haven't even started yoga yet. So it's a half hour. Yeah.
At least I'm good with playing.
You want to just call it now, guys? Are we good? Everyone, or people go? I'm not going to come out for one person, so.
Maybe 12, so it'll be about 12:30.
Why about 12:30? Let me see, but see if they started yoga.
collectively as a team, as you've seen a lot over the course of your careers, the ability to adapt on the fly? Like, how much will that play in tomorrow night?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, when you're playing teams that execute so well, and it's always going to be difficult, the experience certainly helps, knowing personnel, playing those guys the last few years, and having a bit of an idea of what they'll run. But like I said, they run so many different things, and they upgrade every year with what they do. So it's going to be a game where you have to keep adapting, and certainly the experience is something you can lean back on, but it's going to continue to be tough.
What's your approach to defending Braden Smith?
I mean, you got to have good hands on him, make the passes tough because he's such an amazing passer and he can really score. You got to stay down on his pump fakes. But yeah, just make it tough on him. He's one of the best players in the country for a reason, and you're not going to be able to shut him out, but make it as tough as you can.
How fun are those types of matchups for you and Jamarcus too? Just knowing you're in a point guard matchup against one of the best, in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I try to enjoy every game I play, with it being down the stretch here, not having that many games left, especially in this arena. So it is really fun when you play one of the best players in the country. You have to kind of think back to times when you weren't getting this opportunity and just be grateful for it. That's kind of one thing I've emphasized in my mind this year. Is it's pretty cool to be able to play one of the best players in the country and be guarding him. So it's definitely a matchup I'm excited for, and it's going to be tough, but I'm grateful for the opportunity.
You mentioned the different number of sets and defenses there on it. How do you prepare for all that, and how do you handle that going in?
Well, you can't prepare for all of it, but you just have to know that you're going to see different things, and like I talked about earlier with the experience, that helps, knowing how to adapt when you see new things out there, and you have to be ready to adjust on the fly. But yeah, you go through as many plays as you can. You can't get through all of them because they run so many different things, and you're just going to have to be ready to adapt. And at the end of the day, it comes down to playing hard, and the harder playing team's going to win this.
So Reed got going from inside at Rutgers, and I think the next step is getting his legs back to get the three-point shot going. In a game like this, where stretching out their bigs is important, how critical is getting him going from three again, and also what have you seen from him just with his progress coming off the illness?
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of slumping before that illness too, and he would tell you that. So he's just going to have to keep getting his confidence back, and I think he's doing a good job of that. Obviously, 26-point versus Rutgers is really going to help with that. But I think he's so mature that he's not going to let those games before where he hasn't shot it well hurt him. He's still going to shoot. He's still going to hunt it, and I think the rest takes care of itself when you have that mindset. So, yeah, having him be able to make some shots is going to be huge for us, and I don't think anyone is worried about where his shot's at. He's just got to see a couple go down, and he'll be right back where he was.
You took a couple balls into the stanchion there at Rutgers. How were you just feeling after that? I know one was the ankle.
Yeah, I was really sore last night, and after the game, my shin was kind of bothering me, but I just rolled my ankle a little bit. I landed on the stanchion, and it was a weird roll because I didn't fully roll. The stanchion kind of stopped it, but I kind of adrenaline helped me through that one. And when I got home, I think it was really sore because I was almost adjusting the way I was moving, and that caused other muscles to be sore. But did a lot of treatment yesterday. I'm feeling much better today.
Hands for Tim.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome. Yep.